option too. So perfect. Kira and Kira are getting all of the info into the window, into the chat, but I'll give just a moment to introduce myself before we get moving in our practice. So my name is Kristina Reese. I'm honored to host here from my home studio, Hatha Yoga and Fitness in Champaign, Illinois. And I'm so grateful to be a part of the Warrior Ambassador team, specifically because of all of the things that Kira Grace does to really cultivate a sense of community. So throughout, COVID times, our current climate, we've had this desire, this pull to come together and connect. And then oftentimes there's this sense of then overwhelm of like, what do I do? How do I stay connected? How do I do something? And Kira Grace jumped right up with, creating these live classes that are complimentary. But of course we do invite donations, and I can share about the organization I chose here in a moment. But it's really just a time for us to really rise up together. And today's practice I've called Abundance and Grace. Again, I mentioned that I was excited I still got to teach today because I am 3 months or in my third trimester, so 38 weeks pregnant. And so I'm excited to share the flow here. So it's called Abundance and Grace. And it comes to this idea of a sense of abundance, a sense of fertility and expansion. So we're not in a place of, we might be experiencing some fear, but we can have a sense of, okay, there is a trust that we can have our needs met, that there's plenty to go around, that we can really feel that sense of abundance and not get caught up in fear and greed. So it's so important for us to stay connected. And then also I go with this idea of finding a sense of grace. And when we can, Kira Grace, of course, capitalizes on this sentiment, but when we can tune into a place of, okay, can I, approach this situation, the things that come at me graciously without, just getting holed up, without blaming myself, without blaming others. And so it doesn't always come out as like super graceful and like, okay, this is beautiful and perfect. But having a sense of grace is having that sense of compassion for ourselves and others. And usually for me, it comes with like a bit of a smile, like, oh, Kristina, it's going to be okay. We can get through this. So I hope you join in with me finding a sense of abundance and grace. We'll move a vinyasa practice, and then we'll have a little time for some meditation and reflection at the end. All right. And no specific music or playlist picked out for you. So if you like to practice with music, by all means, put something on. Otherwise, we can tune into the music, the sound of our breath, and just really tune into our bodies. And I, can't help but show off how much I love the new KG collection. So got my super cozy, comfy option here. Let's go ahead and stand up for get into our practice. So we will start in a wide-legged child's pose. So coming into your mat, if you like a little extra cushion under your knees, I know I tend to, you can use a blanket, unfurled, or you could find a little fold in your mat. We find this wide knee child's pose, big toes touching, knees out wide, and then walking the forearms down. This might be perfect amount of fold for you. Again, my 9 a.m.ers. Or if you want to let yourself soften even further, you could rest your forehead on your stacked palms on a block or on a mat. And as we take these first moments to just settle into our bodies, to settle into our practice, I invite you to tap into those key words for our practice today: abundance and grace. Maybe what I started to say did resonate with you, or maybe you've got your own definitions or connections to the words abundance and grace. Maybe you're at a place right now where you can really tune in. You do experience a sense of abundance. And you could think about, man, how could I share more? How could I be more of service? Or you might be feeling, oh, I have that connection to fear. I am experiencing some scarcity. And that's okay too. You can notice yourself in that flow of trajectory of abundance. And maybe you set an intention for that you can find ways, be connected to your tools to share your abundance, or that you can tap back in to find the resources that you deeply need. And depending which way you go with that, we'll start to tune our awareness to our breath. If you're in need of that sense of cultivation, of abundance, I want you to focus on your inhale. Notice feeling yourself expand and enliven. You might feel your shoulder blades soften open across your knees and back. So we're still here in this nice wide child's pose, a couple breaths here. Or maybe again, you're feeling connected into your sense of abundance, like, wow, I'm so grateful. I have so much, that I have going well for me. I've been blessed, I've been fortunate. And so you can focus on your exhale. How can you send that out? Or again, focusing on your inhale. How can you draw in a sense of abundance? How can you invite yourself to move out of a place of fear, out of a place of scarcity? And then we'll all start to join in, trying to find a samavriti, an equal balance in our breath. If this wide-legged child's pose is still serving you, stay here. Otherwise, completely fine to sit back on your heels, to rise up and sit tall in your spine. But just noticing the count of your breath, wherever you found that focus first, the inhales or the exhale. And it could be a count anywhere from 3 to 3,000. It's your perfect number. Once you find the count of your inhale and exhale, see if you can match them. Samavriti, that equal balance. Maybe you start to layer on an Ujjayi style pranayama, which is where you can feel the breath brushing against the back of your throat. Not straining, but creating an oceanic sound. Tuning into the breath again, maybe that's your music for practice, radiating from the music of your life. Cultivating, sharing our abundance. Take 3 more balancing breaths. Again, your equal inhale and exhale. Pausing at the base of your next exhale, letting yourself be completely emptied and clear, ready for whatever you might receive knowingly or unknowingly in this practice. And then we all inhale, making our way into a tabletop position. So for your tabletop, your knees are under your hips, your shins are hidden behind your thighs, parallel. And again, maybe kneeling on blanket if that's supported for you. And we all take a spread in our fingers, and you might pad a little side to side in your hand. Still see if you can notice the breath between your shoulder blades, spacious in your upper back, as we take just this little bit of rocking side to side, warming into our wrists. And now we start to cultivate this sense, this connection and idea of grace. And again, if you're like me, You didn't grow up being a dancer or described as someone necessarily graceful. And then that's good because, or that's okay, because we're not talking about grace as being graceful. We're talking about grace as being open and compassionate. So as we keep this swaying going, you might start to bend your elbows, and here you could get a little primal. Oh, maybe I should have worn my Catherine Budig and got out my cheetah pants. But we think of tuning into the sense of inviting, not just going with the flow, but seeing if we can take things on again gracefully. Not perfectly, not beautifully, but with a sense of compassion. Let your swaying start to come towards stillness from the side to side. Maybe walking hands back under shoulders if they went out. And then once you find that nice stable table, send your gaze lightly forward. So again, that sense of gravity in our lift, in our gaze, reminds us of our abundance. We're not stuck where we are, but we invite ourselves to be open. You can start to shine your heart between your forearms, finding a little bit of arch in your spine. Doesn't have to be your deepest cow pose. And then as we round into cat, really focus on the upper back. Let your head hang, your neck lengthen. Continue that. Now we lead the tailbone back, heart forward. Inhale, cow. Exhale, rounding to cat. If your wrists need a little break, you could be on knuckles or even forearms here. And you're just waking up, getting that pressure into the hands. Next time we round into our cat, let's stay here, feeling that domed upper back. And then just explore letting your left arm trace diagonal under towards your right knee or outer thigh. Taking just a soft dome deeper with a little bit of twist into the shoulder. As you exhale, release your hand back down. Inhale, find your cow. Exhale, big round into cat. Take the other hand diagonal under the body and back, doming through the mid-back. You find more space between the shoulder blades. Release both hands back forward. Inhale, cow. And then tucking toes towards the outer edge of your mat, let's come into our first downward facing dog pose. So not about having straight legs, but having length in your spine. Your feet are maybe as wide as your mat today. And you could start to pedal your feet, alternating, lengthening the heels towards the earth. Again, don't worry about necessarily touching the feet down. And we take a bit of sway into the hips, a pedal in the feet. Again, that's that invitation to gracefulness. So feeling ourselves shift, feeling ourselves be open to opposites. And then finding that sense of balance, samavriti in the breath. Softly start to walk your hands back to meet your feet. If you have a blanket on your mat or it curled up, you can roll that out of the way so you have a nice open mat space. And your feet are wide. We take a ragdoll position, holding wrists, forearm, or elbow, and just let your torso hang. You might find again a soft swaying here. Knees could be bent a little or a lot as you lengthen your low back. You could sway just nice like a pendulum. Or maybe as your left forearm draws towards your left shin, you point the right elbow forward, bringing just a little bit of dynamics, a little bit of twisting into your body. Notice if you're gripping with your toes and see if you could soften there. Relaxing where possible, only engaging where necessary. We save up our strength. We trust in the abundance. Invite your swaying towards stillness. Release your fingertips towards the earth. And toes can be parallel, but again, hip distance or wider, mat distance. Bend your knees under your shoulders and slowly roll your torso up. Head and neck is last to come up as we rise, facing the back of, or at the back of our mat, turning palms to face forward. Sense the weight in your legs. You could close your eyes if that feels safe. And taking a soft bend into your knees, find a little bit of buoyancy. Let yourself sink down. And here we bring our hands to our hips. And again, this is where, if you're like me and graceful isn't a word you normally associate with yourself, let that go. Not about how it looks, but how it feels. So you got this buoyancy in the knees. You could turn out through the toes. And let's start to find a little bit of rocking. And again, this is the good news. I didn't supply music, so you're not trying to match anybody's certain beat. You're just breathing in, being in your space. And again, oftentimes for me, a sense of just being full of grace means, okay, I'm going to smile. I'm going to laugh at myself a little. So you got this little bit of side to side hip, and pardon the view, but maybe try a little bit of front to back hip. Kind of like that cat-cow, so we're feeling the tuck under and roll back of the pelvis. Just noticing the mobility, the space in our hips, and also getting some heat, some warmth in the legs. If you're like, ooh, that sounds nice, you can start to slide your hands down your legs, getting a little bit more of a squat, a little bit more heat into our quadriceps. And then I want to invite everyone to turn heels and toes out. Find a little squat. Exhale, really let yourself press down into the earth. And then finding a buoyancy as you inhale, rise up, reach your arms up, straighten your legs, squeeze your glutes. If your knees felt compressed, you could step wider, even off your mat. And then as you exhale, elbows go out like a cactus, knees softly turn out. Inhale, reach up high, squeeze the glutes at the top. Exhale, sink down low. Not your deepest goddess squat, just a little warming into the legs. See if you can feel the space across the front of your heart. So as the elbows go out, you're thinking elbows more forward than fingertips. So really like you're ready to accept a high five. Take another inhale, reach up high to the sky. And I'll be your mirror today. Catch onto your right wrist and then draw over. Maybe you invite a gaze under your top arm, feeling your top ribs back. Notice if you got a sassy hip. See if you could stay neutral in your pelvis as you lengthen up and over. Relax through the toes. And with an inhale, rise back up, nice and central in your pose. Catch onto the opposite wrist. Inhale and exhale, arc over. So our palms are facing down. We get that stretch in our wrists, countering all of our tabletop we did already. Spiral your bottom shoulder forward, gaze under the top arm. I always have that option for a smile. Doesn't mean you have to smile, but live in a place where you have the option. Whenever possible, inhale, everyone reach back up high to the sky. And then exhale, float your hands behind you. You could take hands to pelvis or maybe interlace. Again, for today, rather than pressing palms, let your knuckles be wide. So hands are on hips or hands interlace. Inhale, offer your heart forward. And as you exhale, bend your knees, send your hips under your knuckles and take a nice big bow. Maybe your knuckles reach away from your shoulders. Maybe you shift more weight towards the balls of your feet, but without gripping the toes. So we don't want to lose our broad base. We want to find that abundance even in our stance. Letting our toes spread like roots. Keeping the space in your chest, release your hands down towards your mat. And coming into Malasana, toes out, heels in. Sink your hips down. Try to keep your heels on the mat. If your heels pop up, you can slide a blanket under the heels, or don't sink quite so far. Your elbows draw towards the inner thighs or upper knees, and you offer your heart towards your thumbs, fingertips touching or palms touching. We have an openness in our chest. Shift weight back to your heels. If you fall down, no problem. We're already pretty close to the ground, so shouldn't be too bad. But we're starting to activate, turning on the deep muscles along our shin. Relax your toes and then see if you could dip your left shoulder down inside your knee, taking the left fingertips out wide and the right arm up towards the sky. Let your eyes follow. Big inhale, present the heart open. And then exhale, close down, taking right arm on the inside of the right knee. Inhale, spiral up, left arm up, eyes follow. And as you exhale, closing down, stay low in your hips as you walk your hands out into a high plank position. So let yourself tune in to that, again, primal, animalistic sense as you crawl your hands forward to find a nice high plank. Again, for me, I'm gonna lower knees, and if you want that extra support, take your knees down. As you inhale, feel the shoulder blades peel down your back, offer your heart and your gaze lightly forward. And then letting the elbows soften back beside the body, take a little chaturanga bend. Could be a little bit or all the way to try to kiss the earth. Then we're gonna press right back up. No up dog just right now. Exhale, we all visit to a child's pose. Tap the knees down. Keep it active in your child's pose as we draw back forward. Inhale, shoulders over wrists, kneeling or full plank. Exhale, little push up. Inhale, rise back up, dome your back. Exhale, child's pose. Let's try this 3 more times. Again, not about how low you go, but how smooth, how intentional your movements are. If you find that your breath has lost its fluidity, that might be a sign to not go so far, so fast. Always okay to pause and rest in your child's pose. Again, always ask yourself, do I have the option to smile here? Let's all take our hips back towards our heels, child's pose. Toes can untuck. And then walk your hands over off the right side of your mat. You might stack your right palm on top of your left as you really draw your left armpit towards the earth. Invite some breath into your left side body. Check back in. Are you cultivating abundance in your energy? Not pushing too far, too fast, but staying conscious. But not too conservative. Let's inhale, take the arms through center. And crossing over to the opposite side, exhale, maybe left palm stacks on right as you really draw your right or opposite armpit down towards the earth. Even as we stretch out diagonal, we're trying to keep that squaring or leveling of the pelvis, the back body. Tune into your breath, balanced and full. With an inhale, invite your arms back forward and center. Elbows soften towards the earth. You feel the projection of your upper back. And then shifting shoulders over wrists. Tuck toes, again, return to down dog pose. Hips high to the sky this time. Maybe you notice more space at the pelvis as you could kind of feel a lengthening of your tail and an offering of your chest open. Big toes centered on your mat for balance. With an inhale, reach both heels up high to the sky. And as you exhale, bend your knees like a frog. So the knees go out and the gaze goes forward. Good. So you're getting that little bit of like frog bend out with the knees. And then shift your shoulders over your wrist, high plank position, look forward. Exhale, bend your knees like a spring out wide. Again, channeling that sense of abundance, full at the belly, like Ganesh. Inhale, shoulders over wrists, high plank. Then this time we use it. Exhale, bend knees wide, look forward. And inhale, step or float. Bring your feet up to meet your hands. Feet are parallel, maybe big toes touching. Look forward as you land. Exhale, big fold, release your head and neck. Maybe you have blocks available and you set them here at the top of your mat. And then we all slowly roll up, knees under shoulders. Head and neck is last to rise. Let yourself settle here, palms open. Breathing down through your heels, rising up through your crown. Taking a soft bend into your knees, think of wrapping your thigh bones in towards each other as your hips sink back. Then send your palms up and forward, finding Utkatasana, often called chair pose, but it's our fierce pose. We find a sense of length in our low back and intensity. Can you balance sinking back a little deeper as you reach up a little higher? Take that negotiation for yourself. Notice where the tension comes in. Do the toes start gripping? Does the jaw start clenching? And can you knot that? Can you save that energy? Can you let it circulate rather than get stuck? That's abundance. Tension, cultivation of fear. But also we can find the cultivation of strength. So let's all take fists here. Squeeze through your fists. And then as you inhale, billow up through your hips. Reach your knuckles to the sky, little back bend if that serves you. And then spread the fingers wide. We sink back down into our Utkatasana fierce pose. Squeeze through the fists, sink back, long low back. Inhale, rise up, billow the hips and lift. Abundance. Exhale, we sink down, finding our strength, eradicating fear. And inhale, we rise up, we open. Two more like this. Exhale, sink back, Utkatasana. Inhale, maybe this time you rise up, open elbows wide like a cactus. Inhale, reach up high. Exhale, sink low. Inhale, can you smile as you flow? Exhale, elbows wide. Last time, big reach. Sink back and stay. Let your arms float back as you draw your torso towards parallel with the earth. And again, that sense of grace is about exploring. It doesn't have to be graceful. See if you could shift towards the balls of your feet, elevating your heels a little sliver or all the way to releve. Notice your breath. If the heels lifted, let them lower. Sweep your hands towards the earth and then inhale, rise up high to the sky. Exhale, elbows wide, maybe a little back bend. Inhale, reach back high. And exhale, swim your hands down to hips or interlace behind back. If you want more expansion through chest, you could press palms together at this point. We all find a lift across the front of the heart. Linking the tailbone down towards the earth so you feel recruitment, front of hips drawing towards ribs, stay stable through your core. Maybe you explore closing your eyes here. Tapping in with an intentional vulnerability. Notice your heartbeat. Maybe at this moment, from the heat in the practice, it feels like it's beating right out of your chest. Being open to vulnerability, a tenet of both abundance and grace. Because we take the invitation to trust. As you release the clasp of your hands, eyes can stay soft or closed, and then just find a traditional Tadasana or mountain pose. Feeling the broadness in the collarbones, but the rootedness in the feet. When we think of mountain pose, checking in with yourself today, could you be the mountain? Are you just staying steadfast as the seasons change, the winds blow? Or depending on your current journey, your time in this practice or in this overarching time of rising together, when you take mountain pose, are you on the summit? Are you recognizing the challenges, the time it took to climb and overcome? Again, let yourself be here with your breath, balance. Abundant. Soften where possible in your body. Only engage where necessary. And bringing your hands to rest on your torso, maybe one over belly, one over heart. We connect back with the samavriti, the equal balanced breath as we prepare to go with our flow. Again, the flow, the vinyasa, the space, the steps in a special way are you and your breath. But I'm honored to be your guide. You might invite the corners of your mouth up, soft or wide, and your eyes flicker open. Exhale, arms by your sides. Scoop towards the earth, find Utkatasana with fists. Exhale, sink low. Inhale, rise up, spread fingers, maybe elbows. Sinking back down, Utkatasana. Two more like that. Inhale, billow up, rise up. Exhale, sink low, find your strength. Last time, inhale, rise up, billow open. Exhale, sink low. Let your arms swim back, move towards balls of feet, maybe heels grow light. Exhale, lower heels. Inhale, rise arms, Utkatasana. Exhale, bow forward, hinge at your hips, release head and neck. Inhale, lengthen spine, maybe find your blocks. Ardha Uttanasana, half lift. Heart stays shining forward as you step your left leg back to find a nice long lunge. One hand either side of foot, always okay to lower back knee for balance. We all take an inhale, rise arms high to the sky. Exhale, elbows wide, back knee lowered or lifted. Inhale, reach back high to the sky. And then spiral, reaching your right arm back. Take a twist open from your lunge, good. Backhand invites to low back for support. Lengthen tail under as your top arm reaches high to the sky. Open heart and belly. As you exhale, cartwheel your hands down, frame your foot. Bring the blocks out of the way, plant hands, and then send your right heel up high to the sky. Three-legged dog. Or again, option for left knee to be down. You're in a table. Look forward, exhale, draw your knee towards your right outer shoulder. And then inhale, send your heel back high to the sky. This time, step your right foot outside your right pinky finger. And then rise your right arm up to the sky, twist open like a lizard lunge. Yogi's choice if you want to turn the toe and knee out for more hip opening. Fantastic. Take the top arm forward and down. Inhale, send right heel back high to the sky. This time, stepping through for a warrior two, foot between thumbs. You can use your hand to help it all the way. We windmill up and open, warrior two. Grounding in, everyone invite your hands to your hips. And then let's remember that little negotiation. Extend your front leg and start to rock into your hips. Again, the music is your breath, and we want to find a sense of mobility. As you send the front pelvis higher, feel the stretch in the inner thigh. And then as we all exhale, sink back into your Virabhadrasana warrior two. Inhale, extend both legs, feel the lift up, squeeze your glutes, pelvis level. Exhale, sink back down. Inhale, this time reach your arms high to the sky as both legs go straight and strong. Exhale, sink back down, right knee over ankle, look over your right fingertips. Inhale, rise up two more times. Exhale, feel the sink down low. Sometimes as warriors, self-identified, we get caught up, we get excited in the pull forward. But we need to focus first on that stability, that finding center. As you settle back into your Virabhadrasana warrior two, grounding through outer edge of your back foot, spiraling thighs open, look over your right fingertips. Find your breath. Keeping the legs as they are, release your back hand to your back hip, reach your right arm up high by your ear, a little stretch in your side body. And then moving yourself into your side angle, let the bottom hip slide under you. Right elbow or thigh, or palm to thigh. And then left arm travels straight up to the sky. Send your drishti, your gaze up to that top arm. And then take a cactus, bend that top elbow back, more space into your chest. Then shoot the top arm up by the ear, extending through your side angle. Look down at your front foot. Is the right toe overworking? Could you relax? Did you soften out of the bend? Could you find your strength again? Knee over ankle. And then give yourself a little high five along the way. Let your left arm cross your right. And then walk your hands to the long edge of your mat. Again, maybe you want blocks here. As both toes face the long edge, knees could bend a lot, and we just take a little skandasana, a little sway side to side. Notice the sensations that have awakened in your legs. And tune back in with the balancing of your breath. Oh yeah. Taking your own time, start to walk your hands back to frame your front foot. Maybe you find blocks again if that felt most supported for you, one on either side. Inhale, look forward. And then step your back foot up to meet your front. And find a nice deep fold here, exhale. Reverse swan dive, lengthen through your heart and then rise through your arms, feet are together. Find those fists and exhale, sink back, Utkatasana, fierce. Inhale, rise up, billow hips forward, elbows wide. 2 more times, we integrate back through the legs. Exhale, sink back. Inhale, rise up, open heart, intentional vulnerability. Exhale, sink back. And this last time, inhale, rise up, open heart, open hips. Exhale, release your hands behind your back, interlace, and bow forward. Open your chest towards the earth, towards your thighs. Keeping the chest nice and wide, bring your hands down to your blocks or your mat. Step your right leg back, long lunge on the left. Shine your heart forward again, option to lower back knee, no problem, especially if you did on the first side. And then inhale, rise your arms up high to the sky. Squeeze through your inner thighs, scissor as if you're closing your legs. And then exhale, let the elbows open out. Inhale, reach back high. We spiral this time, left arm back, right arm forward, gaze towards your back fingertips, balance challenge. Let your backhand release to your low back, your top arm billows up and open. Feel the length in your side body. And then cartwheeling your hands down, blocks out of the way. Plant hands, we find a 3-legged dog. Sending left foot up high to the sky, inhale. Exhale, draw your left knee towards your left shoulder. And then inhale, reach back high to the sky. Exhale, step your left foot outside your left pinky finger. And then spiral the left arm up to the sky. Letting your groin sink down. And then both hands again, release. 3-legged dog, inhale, left heel high. Stepping foot between thumbs, windmill, back heel down, and rise up, warrior 2. Taking your time again to settle in and soften your hands to your hips. Reminding ourselves we don't want to just be in a place of tension. We have stability, but we also have mobility. So let your hips sway a little to the beat of your breath. And then let's all take a rise, straighten both legs, squeeze the glutes. Feel your back hips slide forward so the pelvis is level. Shoulders, rib cage over hips. As you exhale, bend your left knee, sink down. Inhale, rise, maybe arms go to sky, both legs lengthen. Exhale, set your focus over the left fingertips, warrior 2. 2 more times flowing. Good. Good. Building a sense of grace, a sense of being open to the experience. We all settle in warrior two. Engage through your legs, but relax wherever possible. Conservation isn't about scarcity. It's about valuing our resources. Trusting abundance. Let the backhand release towards the hip or thigh. Top arm reaches up, back, behind towards the sky. Keeping that length in your left side body, start to cartwheel forward, bringing left forearm or palm to thigh, and send your right arm up to the sky. You're spiraling your lower thigh under you, but you're scooping in through the core. Take the top elbow, a little bit of cactus, and then drive it up long by your ear. Long line from back heel to outer top fingertip. Gaze down at your lower leg, front leg. Notice if you're sinking in your shoulder. See if you could grow out of that space, yes. And then offering yourself that high five, gratitude to be alive. Walk your hands down to the long edge of your mat. Both toes face that long edge. It's okay if you're away from the screen. You could find your blocks, soften into your knees, and find a little shift side to side like Skandasana, or a little sway or wiggle of your hips. Notice if tension crept into your neck, your shoulders. Could you soften a little there? And then taking your time, walk your hands back to meet your front foot. Turning the left toe to face forward, spiral up on the back heel. Again, option for blocks. Inhale, look forward, and then rise forward, back foot up to meet the front. Exhale, big fold here. Ensuring you have about a foot or so in front of you on your mat. Heel toe your feet out wide. We're calling that malasana. Again, maybe hands are under blocks for a little bit of support. And then keeping that widened stance, we all roll ourselves up. Coming to stand, turn your palms to face forward. Maybe a little sway. Maybe a little smile. And as we invite that swaying back towards stillness, eyes soften, maybe close. Notice even when you take intentional stillness, the subtle movements that still help keep us in balance. Softly start to heel toe your feet together on your mat or closer under your hips. Do those little shifts of calibration, noticing your bits of trust as you just go for it. With an inhale, send your arms up high to the sky. And as you exhale, draw your hands to your heart and let your eyes flicker open. Finding stability through your right leg. Start to rise up through your left knee. Noticing again, not sassing out through the hip, but keeping that right leg plugged in. Start to draw your right knee upward, left knee upward. Toe could stay on the mat, or maybe it finds your block for a little more height, but still balanced. And then taking a hamstring curl, draw your heel towards your butt, and then draw some circles with your knee. So the wider the circle, you can get a little bit more ambitious. Again, not about being graceful, but being open, exploring. Next time you draw the hip up and open, we'll move into Vrikshasana tree pose. So you could use your hand to gather up, but see if you could use your core even more. As the foot connects into the thigh, push the leg into foot and foot into leg. Squeeze your glutes like warrior two. And then inhale, send your arms up high. Exhale, can you take the elbows wide? Inhale, rise up high. And catching onto your right wrist. And then find a little side bend here. Affectionately, we call this toppling tree. So if you fall, it's like you're really listening to instructions. Although it is toppled, or not toppled, it's toppling. It's in that active space. We all take our inhale, rise back center. And then remembering like our Utkatasana, slide your left ankle over your knee. Find your fists and sink back. Stretching into a figure four. Again, if this is too intense, ankle could be over ankle for more balance, no problem. Maybe you start to bow, bringing the knuckles, elbows, or shoulders down to the shin or thigh. Keep breathing. We all sink back like Utkatasana. Send your arms up and forward. Rising all the way to the sky, take the elbows wide, lift up through your left knee. And then exhale, release the foot down, arms by your side. Inhale, lengthen high to the sky. And exhale, pull down to your heart. Notice the sensations in your body. Notice the sentiments in your mind. Offering yourself grace in your exploration has nothing to do really with being graceful in execution. Feel the root back strong through your thighs. And with an inhale, maybe corners of mouth rise. Exhale, eyes flicker open, arms by your side. No exploration, or no expectation, just exploration. Inhale, reach back high. Exhale, pull to heart as you find your plumb line in your left leg. Elevating right heel, scooping from the core, drawing heel from the floor. Maybe the knee rises higher, toe could be on a block for more support, or you're just hovering here. Start to circle the knee out, making sure we don't get in the way of the thigh. Hug in through the hamstring. Let yourself be ambitious. Again, that same start, abundance, ambition. It's choosing, it's knowing we can ask a lot. We can be open for a lot. As you open your next knee out, you take that support in for your Vrikshasana tree pose. Again, anywhere from ankle to inner thigh counts. We all send our fingertips up towards the sky. Notice equal length through both ribs, not crunching in. Catch onto that left wrist. And then arc over. Maybe gaze under the top arm if you want that little more balanced challenge. Inhale, invite the rise back high to the sky. Exhale, let's take the elbows wide. Find your balance. Inhale, reach high. And then taking the fist as we sink back into our strength. Like Utkatasana, you're wrapping your left ankle over ankle or ankle over hip. You're just checking in that opposite right side. Keep breathing here. Again, option to bow and folding forward, knuckles or forearms towards thigh. Soften where possible. Simply engage where necessary. Conservation for abundance and grace. Start to elevate your gaze if you've bowed, and everyone rise the hands by ears as hips sink low. Half chair pose. Inhale, rise up, lift knee. Exhale, heel down, elbows wide, open heart. Fantastic. Inhale, reach high to the sky. And exhale, bow forward and fold. Blocks out of the way, take your inhale, lengthen your spine. Again, look forward. Bend the knees as much as you need. Again, hands to mat, feet go back. Let's take an exhale, down dog. Inhale, high plank position, shoulders over wrists. Exhale, melt knees to the mat, untuck toes. Again, find child's pose. Yogi's choice, you could take the knees wider, which will offer more of that space for abundance sinking into your hips. Or knees close together brings more release for your low back. More option to tap into our vulnerability. Let your hands drape back towards your heels so the shoulders can soften open around the knees, forehead rests on block or mat. And then from your child's pose, softly rise up, sitting just briefly back on our heels. Then sliding onto your left hip, let your knees and ankles, or let your ankles go over to the right. Bringing your right heel in front of shin. If your left leg, your left knee says no thank you, no problem, you can extend it forward. Trying to level both of our sits bones as we press down through the right foot, as if you're gonna stand on it. Holding on to front of shin or back of thigh, grow wide across your heart. Option to have, again, that support, that cushion under your left hip, no problem. Then take your left hand down, try not to let the right knee slide out, but slide your arm around. We take an open twist, so you're twisting away from your leg. Whether it's abundance in body or abundance in gifts, we're not closing that in today, but we're inviting that open across our heart. Option to let your backhand wrap around towards your low back, or as if you're putting it into the pocket of your inner thigh. Let's all invite the gaze back behind us. And as your chin releases down towards your chest, inviting length in the back of the neck, we start to unwind, letting the left hand come out to the side, and then reach your right arm up high. Again, pushing down through the right foot like you're gonna stand on it. We don't want our heel too far in because the knee's gonna fall out. We wanna think of it drawing inward. Press down through your right foot, rise up through your right arm, and then let yourself bow forward. Moving towards a version of Marichiyasana. If your fingertips are past, you stay here. If your elbow is passing your shin, you could start to drive it in like you're getting a truck driver to say hello. If your shoulder passes your shin and thigh, maybe you find a wrap to the side. But not about wrapping ourselves in as it is about opening out through our heart. If you know a version of this pose, by all means, take that. Exhale, we allow the crown of the head to reach towards the earth. And sending your gaze forward, We all inhale, rise up to unwind. Send your right arm to the sky and then take it down behind you. Let your left hand wrap to your knee, ankle, or outer foot. Grow tall through your spine. Option 2, explore your balance. The final space here. You could hold on to outer edge of left ankle or foot, and then maybe you extend the leg up. If you're like, yeah, that sounds like something I want to play with, by all means, explore. Otherwise, we all feel that foot rooted to the floor for balance. Fantastic. Everyone send your gaze forward. If you're holding the foot out, keep it there. And then letting your back hand come around. If you're holding the foot, sure, go ahead and keep holding the foot. Otherwise, hands come to knee. Good. And then if your foot is out, keep it out and up. Everyone take your hands behind. If your right foot hasn't lifted yet, go ahead and rise it up. Inhale. And then exhale, we'll switch out the legs. So release, send your left heel up, your right heel in, and then wrap for the opposite side. Good. Again, offering yourself a little bit of grace. However we get there, no problem. Right knee is forward, right heel is tucked. Left foot is offering our foundation. Again, not too far in that we feel falling out, but in line with that sits bone so we can root down. Hold front of shin or back of thigh. Offer your heart open. Adjust as you need if you want support under that right hip. Then your right hand comes behind you. Your left hand could slide elbow outside shin as we gaze over our back shoulder again. We only offer that opening of our heart when we can feel and truly have that sense of rootedness. So feel that stability physically in your left foot and energetically through your breath. Let your chin circle towards your chest, lengthening the back of your neck. And then walk your right hand back in line with your hip or thigh. Pushing through the left foot, root, and then rise, left arm up to the sky. It's okay to find a little shift forward. Your butt can come up here. Adjust as you need so the torso is on the inside of the thigh, and then take a bow. A pose of wisdom and humility. Marichyasana. For the sage, Marichi. Again, if your elbow passes your shin, you could softly drive it in for more openness in the heart. If the shoulder passes the knee, maybe you wrap towards the Baddha version. Not about straining, but offering space. Fantastic. We keep the rootedness of the left thigh. We all gaze forward. Inhale, send your left arm up to the sky. And then exhale, spiral towards the leg, left hand to outer hip, right hand can come to shin, knee, or ankle. And again, this version is perfect, especially for pregnancy. But if you're looking for a little bit more challenge or want to explore your balance, let yourself take that, freedom. You can bring your hand down to the ankle or outer foot, and maybe you extend your right leg forward. A rotated crown chasana. Everyone's still rising tall through the crown of the head. Then we all invite our gaze back forward. Your hand that's behind you comes to knee, or maybe both hands are on feet as you rise up tall. Fantastic. If your leg is already up, leave it there. Everyone take hands behind you to support. Shift back into the core as you extend through the left leg if not there already. Good. Foot high fives. And then everyone shift back to release both legs. Give them a good shake, shake, shake. Tap your feet on the ground. Good. And then allow the feet to settle. The knees fall open. You might choose to take blocks if that feels so extra suited for your practice. As we bring the vinyasa, the flow of our physical practice, to a close, we can turn into the flow of our breath, of our prana and energy. So I invite you to come into a position where you can do a little bit of pranayama, a little bit of breath work. If it serves you best even to be lying down or to go where your back can be against the wall, by all means do that. And if the Baddha Konasana sort of version doesn't work for you, you can take a more traditional Sukhasana, whatever works best. So let's all take a moment to draw the shoulder blades down the back, draw the navel, lengthening the low spine. And then invite options for our drishti, for our focus here today. So again, if we tap back to the beginning of practice, or we tuned into this idea of abundance, are we currently, not necessarily in like the overarching times, but in this specific moment, are you in a space of, yes, I resonate with abundance, I've got so much to share, let's let it out? Or is today, is this moment after this practice, one of the times where you're like, I would want to re-enliven, I want to be aware that it's not a competition, that it's not about, being one of the haves as opposed to a have-not, but what can I do to find a release of fear and to be more open and trusting in abundance? So you feel out how you're feeling today. If you're feeling that sense of abundance, like, yeah, gratitude, we got it, I'll invite your drishti, your focus, to be about 3 feet in front of you towards ajna, towards the third eye. So it's almost like you're gazing off into the horizon, seeing how you can expand and give. And if the other connection of abundance is something you want to be more reminded of and tap back into, I invite you to bring your drishti, your focus, still about 3 feet in front of you, but downward. So it's not drawing your chin to your chest. We all have that nice level throat, but that's going to be where we are. So we can either choose to focus down and inward for cultivation, or horizon and out for expansion. All right. So at this moment, you can invite your eyes to close. And then tuning that focus down and inward, or up and out. Then inviting your jaw to soften. You might even let it hang open, especially my non-video peep. Most of us have our eyes closed, but even then, no one's looking, no one cares. Let your mouth draw really far open. Depending how you're feeling, it could be a yawn or even a silent scream. Open wide. And softly let your mouth close. Your lips connect, but your teeth could still be parted. And as we choose to tap in to our focus of abundance, again, we offer like a blanket, grace on top. So that we have a sense of compassion. So we're not too hard on ourselves. So we can be understanding of others. Knowing without us experiencing that there's situations different than ours. That it's not a competition. It's not a competition of better or worse. about who has it rough, or who has it privileged. We all, by simply existing, get a blanket of grace. Because it's with this grace that we're able to offer and receive abundance. That we can tap into moments without fear or focus on scarcity. But we can have trust, intentional vulnerability, to feel both safe and to serve. So as you tune into your breath, invite yourself to feel your exhales as an opportunity to cozy in with the blanket of grace. Again, maybe finding a samavriti or an equal balance with your breath. So we're all cloaked in grace, knowing there'll be mess ups, missed opportunities, and moments of celebration. I invite you to rehone that drishti of abundance. Again, softly down, but forward. If it's something you're trying to cultivate or reinstate in your life. Or upward toward your eye of intuition. If abundance is flowing, and you have the opportunity now to choose and share and give. So like a mantra, we'll let it settle over with our breath. Inhaling abundance. Exhaling grace. Again, this might be you inhaling abundance, like, please gift me that. Remind me of that. We just take a few more breaths here. Or it could be the breath in of abundance of, wow, I have so much. Help me like a warrior, tune my arrow, and know where I can share it. Exhale, full of grace. Inhale, full of abundance. As you take just a couple more moments to tune into this mantra, I hope it goes and flows with you throughout your day. As you exhale, a final moment of grace. You could draw your knees together and then wrap your arms around you. Softly settle your palms together, lifting your heart to meet your thumbs, acknowledgement of abundance, and bowing your head to your heart, humility and grace. May we all continue along this path, recognizing the light and love, light that helps us illuminate spaces of darkness within ourselves and clarify, clearly light the path for others when we have opportunity. Namaste. Right. Well, namaste, yogis. Again, such a pleasure to guide you in your practice today. Hopefully, we stay connected virtually somehow via Kira Grace. And again, I'm happy to encourage you to make yourself aware of Black Mamas Matter if you're not already. It's a great organization that really does powerful work to educate people in their pregnancy journey and really uplift Black motherhood. So take a look at their website and or feel free to pop questions in. I know a little bit, but their website's fantastic. Well, thank you, everyone's namaste. Thank you. Such a pleasure.
Thank you so much for teaching today. You're incredible. I just really, really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for sharing your day with us.
Oh my gosh. My pleasure. Take care, everyone.